The Asian Games might still be a few days away from starting, but the football tournament as well as even the cricket tournament, which we'll get to in another video, does end up beginning a little before the official start. In fact, the football for the men's side, that is, ends up getting underway today when India will be taking on China. So in this video, what we're going to be doing is actually going over the specifics of how it is that the football tournament, not just for the men's team, but also the women's teams work. We'll go over the schedule and we'll go over realistically what are India's chances of making it into the knockouts, because you remember that the Indian football team originally did not meet the criteria set by the Sports Authority of India as well as the Sports Ministry to be sent for the Asian Games. However, there was a fan movement on social media that eventually led to the government changing their mind and choosing to send both teams to the Asian Games. And of course, there are some differences in both the men's and women's side of the tournament, and we'll go over that in well. Basically, this is that one video you should be checking out if you want to know everything about how it is that the football for both the men's and women's teams will be working during the Asian Games. Now first, let's go over what exactly it is that the schedule will be for the men's team. They'll be starting their campaign against China, the hosts and the strongest team of the group, on September 19th, which is of course today. So later this evening around 5 o'clock Indian Standard Time is when you'll be able to see India take on China. Couple of days later on September 21st, they will take on Bangladesh, and then their final group stage match will take place against Myanmar on September 24th, which is Sunday. So 3 group stage games, and the equation for India is fairly simple. If you finish in the top 2, you're guaranteed to make it to the group stage, but there is also another way you can make it. But before we go into that, let's talk about how it is that the men's tournament is shaping up to be as of now. What you need to know about this tournament for the men's side is that it's essentially an under 23 tournament on the men's side. You are only playing age group players. Every single one of your squad members must be under 23 except for 3, because you're allowed 3 players who can be above the age of the 23. So basically, it's essentially how it is that it works in the Olympics. It's an under 23 tournament, but you're allowed 3 senior players. Now, because of course the Asian Games is essentially an age group tournament and it falls outside of the FIFA window, so more often than not, there are certain teams who choose not to send despite the fact that they qualify, like India were going to do. There are not an even number of teams, let's say. In fact, there's 23 teams that will be playing the tournament from the men's side, and they've all been divided into 6 groups. Now, what this means is that from these 23 teams, 16 teams will end up making it. Now, from these 16, basically 6 groups, what it means is that if you finish in the top 2, you're guaranteed to qualify for the round of 16. However, you can also qualify if you finish 3rd, but the caveat there is that you have to have the most number of points. You have to be one of 4 best 3rd place teams. So if you're finished 3rd, but if you go by the rankings of the 3rd place teams and you're 5th and 6th, it won't matter. You're out of the tournament regardless. And the round of 16 will be where the knockout stages begin, and from there on is pretty much straight shootout. Round of 16, quarters, semis, final, and of course the losers of the 2 semi-finals will take on each other to determine who gets the bronze medal. Now that's everything you need to know about the men's side. What about the women's team, where remember India will be participating? Well, their groups are a little different, so that is why you're seeing that India only playing 2 matches. India's first match, the Indian women's team's first match, is against Chinese Taipei, which will take place on September 21st, and 3 days later you will see India take on Thailand in the second and final group stage match. Now, the way this tournament works, well, actually it took me a bit of research to figure it out myself, because I was left confused upon seeing the initial things. So I guess any of you all have similar confusions, worry not, we'll clear them out in just a bit. But what you need to know about the women's tournament is that unlike the men's, it's not an under 23 tournament. This is very much a senior tournament. So India have in fact sent a full strength squad for the women's tournament. So you're allowed to send a senior team, and overall there's 16 teams that will be playing, and they've been divided into 5 groups. Now again, as I said, there are teams that can and will not send teams even if they are eligible, so that's why you have this slightly uneven number. But because there's only 16 teams that are playing, what you've done is that the knockouts will in essence start from the quarterfinals. So the final 8 teams will take on each other in the knockouts. So the quarters, semis, finals, and of course the 3rd place playoff. That's how it is, simple as that. But again, guess you must be also wondering, how is it that the teams will then qualify, and that if you had 16 teams, why did you need to divide them into 5 groups when you could have made 4 groups with 4 teams each, and it would have actually solved the same purpose? Yes, that is the thing, and that is why it's important we go over what the groups are so that you get a bit of an understanding as to why this decision was taken. Now, as you can see on your screen right now, 5 groups. Group A is China, Uzbekistan, Mongolia. Group B, Chinese Taipei, Thailand, and India. Group C has only 2 teams. There's North Korea and Singapore. That's it. Group D has Japan, Vietnam, Nepal, and Bangladesh. And Group E has South Korea, Hong Kong, Philippines, and Myanmar. Again, very, very confusing, right? The problem was, though, there was supposed to be originally 17 teams. Group C also featured Cambodia. In fact, Cambodia had been drawn alongside North Korea and Singapore in the original draw that was done, but then made a last-minute decision to not send their team because, in the words of their federation, they didn't feel like they had enough quality players to go there and actually make any sort of a splash, which is why you're seeing this absolute hodgepodge of groups wherein you have, 2 groups which have 3 teams, 1 group which has 2 teams, and then the other, Group D and Group E feature 4 teams. It's very, very mixed, and truth be told, could have probably been avoided by maybe making modifications to ensure that all of them have 4 or something like that. But this is how it is, and it's simple. Whoever finishes top of their group, so Group A, B, C, D, E, whichever are the teams that finish top, will end up qualifying for the knockouts, as well as the 3 teams that finish, the 3 best teams rather, should I say, that finish second. So that's 5 plus 3. That's how you make your quarterfinal draw. And that's everything you need to know about both the men's and women's football tournaments that will be taking place in the Asian Games. We hope you found this video informative, and if you enjoyed it, you can let us know by liking this, sharing it with your friends, subscribing to the channel, tapping that bell icon, and leaving us a comment down below. You can also go ahead and follow us on social media. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Last but not least, don't forget to download the AajTak app, and if you're already on the channel, go right ahead and check out some other videos that we've done. For now, though, from my side, it is bye-bye.